Drums of War, Chapter 16, The Massacre of Madrid Nouveau. In the former colony ship turned colony headquarters, Mark Riera, Esteban Navarro, Guillem Lopez, Carlos Martinez, Julia Oliver, Mariana Villanova, and Oriol Vera sat around a round table and contemplated their shattered dream. The cost of terraforming, the ship, the training, and the hardy homesteads had all gone to waste. There would be no second Pacifier. It turned out that Pacifier truly did depend on the protection and tolerance of the Republic. The only consolation was that the children had escaped, or rather will escape. That and a few dozen bottles of cerveza each. So now what? Julia spat, as if the words were better. No surrender, Mark sighed. Carlos slammed a half-empty bottle onto the table and declared, You cannot make us do violence. I expect no such thing, Mark said sadly. What then? Oriel asked, despair creeping into his voice. Guillem took a long pull from his bottle, then slurred, Just tell them no, then they'll do what they want to do. Mariana balanced her bottle on its rim in small circles. He'll kill whoever disobeys. Mark seemed to gain strength, and he declared, Then they will kill me. This is how I fight evil. As I cannot commit violence against the poor soul in the grips of evil, I shall simply refuse to do as the evil wants. Maybe later, someone stronger will rescue the ones who killed me. But I will add no evil to the verse. This is how we will fight, Estiva agreed. This is how we will fight, the others rejoined. With the support of his fellow ad hoc governmental officials, Mark began to compose a message to the Uxark ships bearing down on their fair world of Madrid Nouveau. Dear Commander of the invading forces, we have received your demands for surrender of the planet and its populations, and after careful consideration we have reached our decision. It is my regretful duty to inform you that surrender and obedience shall be impossible. In the first place, the only authority with which you make such demands is the arms with which you threaten us. We find this authority lacking in its moral content, in which it should compel us to action of any kind. Furthermore, we do not believe the thirst of your deity deserves to be sated. Let him eat the dust of the solar winds and choke on it. Additionally, you, being foreign to us and our ways, know nothing about what orders should be obeyed by people such as us. You lack the knowledge of how the ecology interacts with our agricultural practices, what machines are used in which trades, and the attitudes of our constituent races, and how this changes which tasks they take up. Frankly put, you would be too ignorant to give good orders in any case, and would thus never be obeyed. Bearing all of this in mind, we, the Council of Madrid Nouveau, insist that you go away and pursue your violent games elsewhere. Regards, Mark Riera and the Council of Madrid Nouveau. They sent the message. They knew the consequences. In low orbit over Madrid Nouveau, Acolyte Lord Zamzi Adad was nonplussed. It was completely unprecedented. From the transmissions, dubiously translated to be sure, but still understandable enough. He had been under the impression that these were dedicated pacifists, fools who depend on the strong to refrain from taking their due, and by what reason the strong should refrain had always baffled him. From the first time his tutors had described those unworthy races of pacifists fed into the ever-thirsting Morag Zur who refused violence, he had expected weak spines and sniveling cowardice. This, while completely foolish, was not cowardly. Acolyte Lord Zamzi Adad reread the missive once again, and once again found himself absolutely confounded by it. It was the first time he had been confused by a conquest. In all these days, he had been sure of the worth of his conquests. In all cases, they had been unworthy. But this planet confounded him. In the first place, this had the races called Terrans, who had been on ships of another race called Star Sailors, who had shown great worth in battles in the conquest of the unworthy beetles. However, only Terrans were present, all 4 variants that he was aware of. The ones with long-fanged snouts, who had been so frightful in their all-false charges, the ones with slit pupils and retractable claws whose agility was so uncanny, the ones with thumbed feet who found cover in the oddest places, and the ones who looked like Exarch with the wrong skin colors and lacking elbows and knee horns, who were simply unrelenting. All 4. There were rumors of computer intelligence, but how could a race have such without the restraining rituals of the Emperor? Acolyte Lord Zamziadad didn't believe the rumors. The four were here, except they had no weapons. The planet had no weapons unless one counted the arms needed to break up larger asteroids as weapons, or defense platforms, or any evidence of any fleet at all. Just how could these fools send such a defiant message? Where was the groveling surrender? Where was the self-abasing pleading for mercy by the unworthy? This entire situation was incorrect. That's what it was. Completely incorrect. Acolyte Zamziadad decided it mattered little, except that his hopes for glorious victory over the worthy had been dashed. "Send the landing craft," he ordered. "There is nothing worth bombarding on this surface." "I obey, Acolyte Lord," the infantry commander said. "Let us see how they intend to defy us." Acolyte Lord Zamziadad mused. In a field on the surface of Madrid Nouveau, Warrior 12034831 was at a loss of what to do. He had followed the Holy Battle Doctrine and surged out of the landing craft with all his fellow warriors under Warrior Lead 04227219, and upon finding no threats, opened fire on any of the sapiens he had been briefed on who were out in the open. There had been no panic, no screaming and running as the unworthy, no pleading for mercy, no wailing at unfairness or cruelty, whatever those were. The people just went about their business of farming until they were all dead. They didn't even hide. Warrior 12034831 idly wondered how the farm serfs kept their nerve without being in the service of Exur. May the stars tremble at his steps. He was determined, probably by an initiate highborn in charge of the landing, that these kills were not worth the plasma if the locals were not going to fight back, and thus the warriors were ordered to extract obedience from the farm serfs. Warrior 12034831 considered the holy doctrine of obedience extraction from the unworthy and went to find the nearest living farm serf. "Serf," he shouted, "abase yourself before the will of the Emperor." "No," the bipedal, somewhat carnivorous-looking creature responded. No shouting, or shaking, or tears, just that simple word, and the continuation of their business as if Warrior 12034831 was merely a post in the ground. "You shall lay down your tools, serf, and abase yourself before the will of the Emperor, or you will be beaten," Warrior 12034831 shouted. According to the Holy Doctrine. "Then beat me and leave. I have work to do before sunset." Flabbergasted, Warrior 12034831 lowered his plasma caster and asked, "Do you not fear my strength?" "You can beat me if you wish, but how is that strength?" "I can likewise beat you if you were unarmed and I armed and backed up by more war fighters. But that would not be strong, merely lazy." "You know not the word." "I'm sorry, it's not you who are lazy. You are just a tool, an instrument of violence of those above you. Whatever benefit from violence you gain is at their pleasure and your risk. The point is that no, I do not fear your violence, because it is not strength. If you continue to disobey, you shall be killed as all unworthy," Warrior 12034831 said slowly. "If I obey, I lose my freedom, and am worse than dead. Do your worst," said the farm serf, and lashed their tail as if irritated. Warrior 12034831 found himself at a loss for this reason. He could not extract obedience, as the farm serf claimed that death would be better than accepting their frightful place under Exur. May the stars tremble at his steps. He was so lost that Warrior Lead 04227219 did come to him and demand, "What is the delay? Obtain the obedience of this serf." "Warrior Lead, this farm serf claims death better than obedience," he exclaimed. Warrior Lead 04227219 simply took aim at the farm serf's head and put a bolt of hot plasma through it. "Each that claims such, give to them their wish. It is the boast only. And obedience at the fear of death shall come with enough examples." The scene played itself over and over again across the surface of Madrid Nouveau, until the last colonist had defied the orders of the Exarch and had perished for a defiance. Warrior 12034831 found it difficult to consider them unworthy. Warrior 12034831 wondered what wouldn't happen if all the Nameless simply said no, as the colonists had. End of chapter. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.